So, guys, I have a little bit of a confession to make, and that is that I am an introvert. So, I know really, really well all the little nuances and anxieties that come along with being an introvert. I also know that being a chiropractor and owning a small business just rubs up against my introvert nature in a way that makes me super uncomfortable. With that said, I also love being a small business owner and I love owning a chiropractic practice. And if you're in a situation where you want to be a chiropractor and you're wanting to grow your practice, but you're also an introvert, you're dealing with some of those conflicts and some of those internal turmoils that come along with that. So, because of my own kind of nature and nuances, and having worked with a lot of chiropractors, I do have a few tips and a few bits of advice for introvert chiropractors. Now, I actually did a podcast about this recently. It was episode 321. If you're watching this video really soon, it was just my latest podcast where I go more in depth. The biggest thing I want to share with you is this, because I want to share with you is that you don't have to become an extrovert. You don't have to change who you are to be successful. And a lot of the introvert chiropractors that I've worked with have asked a question that I think is kind of a sad question, and that is, can I be successful and be an introvert? What they're asking is, they're starting to really question, is it even possible for me to have a successful practice because of the fact that I am an introvert? And I think the question really comes from the fact that a lot of people that do practice management, a lot of people that have podcasts and do videos and do a lot of this stuff, even like I'm doing, a lot of those people are extroverts and they have kind of that charisma that comes along with that. And sometimes their advice is extrovert advice. And when an introvert hears that advice, they just have trouble doing things the same way that an extrovert does. And then they try to do it and they just fail and they can't seem to kind of get the momentum. And then they start wondering, can I be successful being an introvert? And the short answer is yes, you can. You don't have to become an extrovert. The goal you should have is being an introvert with a larger comfort zone, because introverts don't have a hard time doing something in their comfort zone. And you'll hear people say like, oh, success isn't in your comfort zone, blah, blah, blah. I agree that success isn't within a small comfort zone. But every time you do something, you get a little bit better at it and more comfortable with it. And even something like this, where when I first started shooting videos, it made me really anxious. When I first started doing podcasts, like I couldn't even record a podcast without getting so worked up. And I would just end up deleting stuff and throwing it away and getting rid of it. And I have to record something like this 100 times before I had anything that I even felt kind of okay with. But as time has gone on, I've gotten more comfortable in front of the video camera. I've gotten more comfortable on my podcast. And what's happened is I've expanded my comfort zone. So I'm still not really jumping really far outside of my box. I'm just constantly trying to push the walls of my box out. I'm trying to become more comfortable. So the idea that like, oh, success isn't in your comfort zone, that's sort of true and sort of not. Because as you do more things, that becomes your comfort zone. And so your success does kind of go inside your comfort zone at some point. So don't try to jump way outside of your comfort zone and way outside of your box if you're an introvert, because I can tell you from experience, you're not going to do a very good job of it. It's going to be overwhelming and you're just going to end up kind of breaking down. What you need to be doing is go to the edge of your comfort zone, go to the walls of your comfort zone and start pushing on them. And what little bit that you can kind of expand that comfort zone a little bit by little bit by little bit. And each time you do that, you're going to take ground. And that's really how you're going to be successful. And so I just hope that that'll help like change your thought process around what it means to be an introvert. You don't have to become somebody else, but you do have to expand your comfort zone.